Welcome back to Interesting Day, fellow adventurers. One of the greatest misconceptions of childhood is that when we become adults, we will finally have control over our lives. However, while it's true that reaching adulthood means we can choose our own bedtime and have burgers for dinner every night, the idea that we suddenly become masters of our own destinies is simply an illusion. Whether it's paying taxes or staying at home during lockdown, sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do. Still, apart from the rules and regulations imposed by the government, our employers, or even our partners, it's clear that humans are attached to the notion of being autonomous beings who get to choose their own path in life, and it's not hard to see why. To believe the opposite is to accept that our futures have already been predetermined and we are mere NPCs rather than active players. You might even say we'd be no better than zombies, and then we enter the topic of today's video. Now, if you're going to be a scientific killjoy and declare that there are no such things as zombies, I suggest you visit Walmart on a Saturday afternoon and see for yourself. Pay close attention to the faces of people aimlessly pushing shopping carts. Notice the emptiness in their eyes, their vacant expressions, and the way they follow the path of endless aisles as if slaves to some unseen force. Of course, it isn't just really big retail stores that have the power to turn living beings into mindless zombies. Mother Nature is pretty good at it too. Because real-life zombies are surprisingly common in the natural world. For example, the case of Plesiometa argyra. This unfortunate spider is frequently selected to unknowingly and unhappily assist in raising the offspring of a particular parasitic wasp, whose reproductive behavior resembles something from a terrifying movie. The wasp begins by immobilizing the spider with a solitary sting, after which it deposits its larvae onto the spider's body. In addition to being burdened with the unwanted task of babysitting, the spider also endures another ominous surprise, a fresh set of biological instructions. Initially, the creature goes about its regular business as if a host of tiny parasites aren't making a full course meal out of its insides. But after 2 weeks, something changes. Through a mechanism we still don't understand, the creature will suddenly stop tending to its regular activities and will instead feel compelled to craft a small, sturdy platform unlike anything it has ever built before. The creature will spend the last night of its life on this crazed construction project, and its reward for finishing is to be devoured alive by the hungry larvae hanging out on its abdomen. With that final nutritious meal in their bellies, the larvae will begin spinning their cocoons, which they neatly hang from their bespoke spiderweb scaffold. While there are numerous terrifying examples like this one in the wild, none evoke as much dread as fungi. These organisms form a distinct kingdom of their own, separate from plants, animals, and even Narnia. Within this kingdom, various types of fungi, including yeasts, molds, and mushrooms, exist, each with their own unique characteristics and roles. Among them, entomopathogenic fungi stand out as they infect and often kill insects. One such formidable fungus is Boveria bassiana, which thrives in soils around the world. It enters its victims, insects and arthropods, by penetrating their exoskeletons and growing inside them, resulting in their demise within a matter of days. But the rudeness doesn't end there. Boveria bassiana proceeds to colonize the deceased insect's body, with its spores spreading across the lifeless form before dispersing into the air, searching for new targets. This lethal fungus is so effective at eliminating certain insects that it is employed as a biological insecticide to control pests like termites, aphids, and beetles. However, Boveria bassiana's brutality pales in comparison to a particular genus of fungi known as cordyceps. Found in tropical and temperate regions worldwide, these fungi possess a unique ability. They don't just kill their hosts, they first release chemicals into their brains, taking control of their bodies and turning them into mindless automatons. It is no wonder they are referred to as zombie fungi. For instance, Ophiocordyceps curculinum preys on weevils in Central and South America, while Ophiocordyceps sinensis targets caterpillars in the Himalayas. Ophiocordyceps humberti infects wasps in Brazil, causing them to land on a leaf or branch and bite down before meeting their end. It is an unsettling modus operandi, but remarkably effective nonetheless. The cordyceps have mastered this strategy over an extensive span of time. Evidence from fossil records reveals zombie ants controlled by a fungus resembling cordyceps, feasting on leaves at least 48 million years ago. Imagine an incredibly adaptable organism capable of colonizing entities thousands of times larger than itself, seizing control of their minds, and compelling them towards a ritualistic demise. At this point, a single question likely occupies your thoughts. However, rest assured that there is no reason to believe that humans can fall victim to an undiscovered fungus, transforming into real-life clickers reminiscent of The Last of Us. In fact, the opposite holds true. We might harness the potential of these lethal fungi to our advantage. Within cordyceps fungi resides a chemical known as cordycepin, which activates a cellular protein called AMPK in biological organisms. As it turns out, AMPK possesses remarkable potency. Preliminary tests indicate that drugs triggering AMPK production in our bodies have the capacity to reverse certain types of diabetes and cancer, mitigate heart disease, and potentially extend our lifespan. Scientists now believe they have discovered effective methods to cultivate cordyceps fungi within laboratories, opening up possibilities for groundbreaking antiviral and cancer-fighting medications derived from cordycepin. Admittedly, it may be difficult to accept that the medicine you are consuming originates from a zombie fungus. Nevertheless, perhaps it will gradually grow on you.
Thank you for joining us on Interesting Day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our thrilling adventures.